again. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from the last video called Friend Zone. Check it out. Today, I'm going based off of what one of my friends wanted me to cover, which is why do females tend to go after assholes rather than good guys? To be honest, I wondered that myself when I was younger. You see a female getting mistreated or anything like that, and then when that kind of relationship ends, they tend to go to another person who treats them the same way, but they claim to want something different. I'm about to dive into this. So, the reason I feel, remember, this whole page is my perspective. The reason I feel that females tend to go for the assholes is because females love experience and challenge, okay? By that I mean they want to mold a broken person in their mind. A broken person is somebody who doesn't fit the norm, who isn't who they will be happy with, but they hope will be in the future. So they try to take that person, try to mold them in a way in which they themselves can benefit from said person. Now, you're gonna always, and this is to you females, you're gonna always experience this when you're growing up, okay? Now, this is based off your preference growing up. If you always went after nice guys, then that's you, okay? But this is about what most people see nowadays, which is like you complaining about a certain guy being a certain asshole, but yet you the one that goes with them. So this in general is more to that guy actually being able to incite emotion from you. Now let me dive into that. A lot of females, remember, this is a lot, not you specifically. If you don't do it, that's okay, whatever. A lot of females do make decisions based off of emotion, okay? And the one thing, a powerful thing you can do to a female is incite emotions from her. Know how to control her emotions, okay? By this I mean, an asshole can straight up tell you today, you look ugly, you look like shit, you ain't ever gonna be nothing, stuff like that. Of course, that's gonna bring you low. That's gonna affect your self-esteem. But then they could literally just say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, you're beautiful, etc., which makes that compliment that he gave you much more powerful than it actually is, because you were just in that bottom place from what he said earlier. And the fact that he gave you some light in that darkness, you're just there like, oh, this is the best I've ever seen. That I feel very happy. But forgetting that he called you ugly and etc. just moments before. He could say JK and then you forget it. Not actually forget it, but more you toss it away in your mind. You're just like, it's not important. The reason assholes tend to get the female is because they incite more emotion. Now, this also dives into why females say, I want a nice guy, or etc., but then they choose somebody else different. Let me tell you how this happens, okay? You love experience, okay? This whole generation is about experience, okay? Back then, our parents, not our parents, oh heck no, not our parents, our grandparents knew what they wanted from birth, okay? They were always told what they wanted from birth, and they would go and get it. That would be their goal growing up. Well, in our current day and era, we emphasize more on experiencing everything before we make a decision, okay? For that, I mean this. You yourself will find the perfect person, and you know who the person is or what the person's characteristics are that you know you would want for the rest of your life. However, you put that in detail as somebody you want in life. Now, you're going to try to experience every other thing before you go for that person, okay? By that, I mean this. Say you want a nice guy who always treats you right, you know, support you no matter what, etc. Tell you how it is. You know that's what you want, but you're not gonna get that. You don't want to get that yet, okay? Because you want to see if you can mold somebody else into that identity, okay? Which is why you tend to take the most opposite of what you want and say, this person has potential, okay? Potential, it's not like that, okay? You're saying the person has the potential to become something. No, you identify that as soon as you meet them, which is wrong. That person themselves can end up the complete opposite. Their true selves can be the complete opposite of what you want. But you're not worried about that. You're worried about seeing if you're able to be compatible with that person simply because you want to mold him or her into that specification that you want. That's why most of you go after the same male and female, because you guys want to experience everything first. You want to experience heartache without wanting the heartache. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us has experienced heartache before. Of course we have. That's life. But a lot of you tend to go towards that direction because you're not ready to settle down in life yet. Of course you're not. You know, some of y'all are really young, but some of these people end up being like 40, 50 years old doing the same thing. The sad part about it is there's always complaints about not ending up with the right person and etc. Right? This further goes back into my whole friend zone video that I made, in which case you're ignoring what is compatible. You want to end up happy. Of course you do. But you give so much risk because you're trying to mold water, not water. There you go. You're trying to mold clay into steel. That's all it is. You're thinking, if I harden the clay, it'll be solid. I mean, yeah, but it's not steel. Okay, you want steel, but you're trying to mold clay into steel. You can't do it. I mean, unless you want those, alchemists and you do some weird shit. But other than that, all that pain, all that experience and everything comes from you wanting to experience it and taking the risk because you're not ready to settle for what you want. Okay. Now, this also goes into being scared. Okay. Being scared is some people don't want to experience a happiness that they want to experience in the rest of their lives. They don't want to experience that early because they're gonna feel, okay, I didn't do as much as I wanted to in my life. Okay. You know, the whole experimenting and all this other stuff is simply because we grew up to do that. We were told we can be anything. We were told we could go out there and be everything. And that, of course, tells our mind, you know what, I want to experience everything. Okay? Which is why, especially during college, you'll start to do things you never thought you would ever do because you want to experience it. Now, say, this is not to all y'all, but say you took ecstasy or something, right? Now, common sense is, don't take ecstasy. The hell you doing? But you ain't thinking about don't take it. You're thinking about I want to see how it feels. See the experience. You see how other people react to it. You see other people be flipping shit and everything. But you want to experience it yourself. Not because you see all the bad that happened with them. You're just like, hey, I want to experience it. See if I like it. It all comes down to experience. It all comes down to not being ready. And by not being ready, that's more of a mental thing, okay? So, in general, girls tend to not go for the good guy until they're ready to just chill out, to just want to be happy, okay? That's when you'll start to see those girls, just chill out. And I'm gonna give an age range for this. You'll start probably dating around middle school, actual dating. We went to the movies or something. Middle school. So you're probably around 12, 13, no, 11, 12. Preteens. Then this is when you're experimenting. It's really crazy. Is during high school. Okay, so 13 to around 17, 18. Okay. Then here comes college. This is the peak of your experimenting. This is where you try out everything in general, which is why, you come to college, you see, I'm sorry to say this, you see a girl end up with like 5 guys in her room, and she ends up doing all of them. She wants to experience sex with different people because she likes it, right? You often see a guy go into 5 different girls' rooms. That's experimenting. He wants to see how sex is with those people. He likes sex. But then, as you get older, as you mature, as you tend to see, like, this ain't the life for me type of thing, that's around 21. Around 21, you start to really look at the scope. You look through the scope in life, and you just like, what was I doing? This is when you look back at, like, what was I doing? Why was I doing this? Etc. Okay? This is where your mental state becomes more solid, where the experience of things isn't your focus. It's about you. Okay? And with that, it's like, I want to become something more. I want to finally be happy, not go do all these other things. I want to be happy. This is when you start to realize what makes you happy and that you can get it. And most of these things aren't even out of our reach. Okay? They're not out of our reach. It's always next to us. We just never notice that. Like I said before in the other video, look in your friend zone. You'll be surprised. So, to all the males out there that wonder, why do females go for assholes instead of good guys? It's because that female isn't ready to be happy yet. And by that, I mean she's not ready. She's not done experimenting. She's not done fulfilling her experience. But that's just my opinion. That's just my perspective. But if you encounter a female who's ready, you'll know. You'll know, because you'll start to see her cut off a lot of fuckboys. And by cut off, I don't mean the basic cut off where you cut them off for like 2 weeks and then one text message later they're back. Not like that. No, I'm talking about actual cut off. That person no longer exists. You'll know. Trust me, you'll know. So if that, remember, this is my perspective. This is my opinion. Okay. This is based off my experience and those with experience around me. Okay. Just make sure that you don't bash the girl for not being ready. Okay. Because most of the things we do are subconsciously. Okay. It's not, we don't notice that we do it. We don't know why we do it. We just do it. Alright. And with that, I'm out.